Good evening and a warm welcome to all the lovely audience who have tuned in to watch us live today. I'm Sharmishta Parmar, the admin of Parent Station Ahmedabad, and I wish you all a very happy National Girl Child Day. Every year, 24th Jan is observed as National Girl Child Day, and this day was initiated to spread awareness among the people about the inequalities faced by girls, to promote education, health, and nutrition to the girl child, and also to spread awareness about the rights of the girl child. And today we have with us a very special guest, all the way from Zurich, Switzerland. He's currently a youth ambassador at the Robert Kennedy Foundation. He's a second year student at F plus F School for Design and Art. He's a girl education and women rights activist. Good evening, Shiv, and a warm welcome on Parent Station platform. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's so wonderful to be here to talk about the work I do and to have a conversation about girls' education and women's rights on National Girl Child Day.
Wonderful. Uh, you also manage an Instagram account named Fingerstroke Keyboard. I guess I pronounced it well, where you widely spread the awareness on the issues of women rights and girls' education. How did you start with this? What made you approach doing this page?
So when I first started my page, I was in a completely different space. I started with talking about the issues of like racism and racial injustice that was happening in the US with the whole Black Lives Matter movement. But as time went on, it became increasingly clear that the movement was very different in Europe. It was more on the historical aspect, and a lot of the solutions that the movement was trying to implement in the US were very hard for me to access, even as a US citizen in Europe, because it was like contacting senators and representatives. And so I decided, it'd be very difficult to still link myself with a movement that is very US oriented. So I'm like, I have to, think of something else, try something different. And so I decided to join the issue of girls' education, as I saw like the impact of an education can have for a young woman, and you know that it can change a whole society rather than just one life if all women are educated. And it's been proven in many studies that if women are educated, it increases the chances of children surviving, it improves the society, it increases a country's economic growth and productivity. So I decided to switch from racial injustice to girls' education.
Wonderful, wonderful, Shiv. Uh, let's begin with like how did you find your way to the issue of girls' education?
I found my way to the issue of girls' education by looking at like different activists who were around at the time, like Malala Yousafzai and many others who are standing up for the rights of girls and women in areas where, either because of war or conflict or just simply gender discrimination, a lot of women don't have access to education, or because of economic collapse or civil wars that have been happening in Syria, Afghanistan, and many countries around the world. So, and also in my family, I've seen the impact that an education has for women. We have a rich history of lots of women being educated at a time and in a place where they normally wouldn't have been in India, and how the rich literary history has been in our family contributed by a very female oriented space and energy.
Good. So where there's a will, there's a way. I truly agree to
Yes.
that. But there might be some difficulties which you must have faced, Shiv.
I guess with the pandemic, it was very difficult to do the activistic work because everybody's at home. And even as things have opened, people are very hesitant to go to in person places. And it's become a bit of a mental block for people to think about projects beyond the space of Zoom and Skype and the digital space. So it has been difficult with the pandemic. But as things are slowly opening, there are more and more opportunities slowly taking place to do more in person things.
Lovely. So I would just like to ask you that do you get calls from someone asking for your support, or to go ahead with this what you're putting on the Insta page or something like that?
I mean, I don't really receive any calls to put out the information and content I do. I just do it very naturally myself because I guess the issue of girls' education for a lot of people has been resolved. Everybody knows what solutions are implemented. So a lot of people just put it in the back of their mind thinking that, oh, the governments need to do everything. We kind of know that women need to be educated. We know the benefits. So there isn't a lot of there aren't a lot of a huge amount of people who come to me being like, "Oh, can you make this? Can you make that?" I just do it very naturally by myself.
That's really wonderful because, like, youngsters of your age, they might feel like doing something like watching movies or going for games or just biking or something. But you have such wonderful ideas and you put that on your page, and it's good seeing you doing this. So, what are the things you believe people can do to support girls' education?
I guess with the internet, it's become very easy to support girls' education. You can support charities like the Malala Fund and many others. You can even look at what your government is doing. There are a lot of pages on government websites like the Foreign Affairs Division and whether they're doing something for girls' education, or you can read up on the news and just type in girls' education. You find lots of information and articles about what's going on. And you can even support charities that are in Afghanistan that are working on helping communities that have been cut off from resources because of the current political situation and economic situation that's been happening for a very long period of time. There are lots of different ways to help. And I think the difficulty with people is at the moment is that they're being overloaded with a lot of information because of the media and news. It's always about this situation, this issue, this topic, focus on this thing, focus on that thing. So a lot of people get lost. And when they think about wanting to help an issue, they get turned off because they're like, oh, there are 100 things I need to focus on. So if you want to help the issue of girls' education, it's important to remember that it's okay to once in a while switch off from an issue. It's like a tabs on a computer. If you have too many tabs open, the computer is going to crash, and it's not good for your mental health or the mental health of others to have 100 things running around.
Very true. According to you, how can a young person like you become a change maker?
I think for young people to become change makers, they really need to focus on one issue and really need to accept the fact that they can't do 100 things at the same time, which is a big issue in our generation. That because there's a lot of accessibility to information, you can learn about 300 things within maybe a span of a month to less than a year. So I think really focusing on an issue and really using your already existing talents and hobbies to spread that activism and to educate yourself on how, the Instagram algorithm works, or how you can use music to spread your message, and really being informed and having the information, even if it's not understanding the whole issue at one point. If you'd like segmented that, oh, first I'm going to figure out why is there so much poverty in, let's just say, India, and what can we do to help that? And looking at everything in a very organized, segmented way, and not trying to learn everything at once when starting to advocate and becoming a change maker.
Lovely. I truly agree to you that because focusing at one thing is going to bring a change. You can't just keep on moving, just focusing on one thing, and then your mind changes and you move to some other thing. So that's not going to help. Yes, I truly. You are supporting a school also in Ahmedabad, which is named as a footpath school. So how did you get to know about this, and just give a little bit just about it? How did you get into this?
We got to know about the footpath school through my granduncle. He used to go to the school and he used to give donations and supplies. And I think one day we were having a little conversation about like we want to support a local school that's helping children. And he said, "Oh, I know this footpath school." And then we went there one day and we saw the school and we met with the founders and the people running it, and we became very interested in supporting them. And we also learned of the issues in India with government schools and how they aren't usually, in a normal circumstance, able to supply the best education, either because one, the teachers are running away off to doing um, tutoring and they don't spend the time actually properly educating the children who are not able, because of financial reasons, to go to a school where they really focus and care for the children. So the footpath school started to ensure that kids can succeed academically, which can unlock their future and potential and allow them to go to higher places and lift their families out of the poverty cycle and to create a whole new generation of educated people that are readily available for the growing labor market of India.
Lovely. Where is the school exactly, Shiv, in Ahmedabad?
Um, where is it exactly? That's a good question. Hold on, I have it written down.
Okay, no problem. We'll try to. So, what do you think, Shiv? In India, where are we lacking while educating the girls? What is the main drawback?
I think the main drawback with, I think, girls' education in general, whether you're talking about India or everything, is that the problem is there is the infrastructure. It's just not organized enough to handle creating multiple programs that can, sustain for a long period of time educating girls. And a lot of times there's huge regional and cultural differences and different opinions about how a girl should be educated, what should they be learning about, what shouldn't they be learning about. And a lot of times there can be political conflicts that lead to, girls not being educated. If one political party doesn't want to educate girls because the other one's already doing that, then there's a lot of vested interests that lead to a lot of underprivileged girls not being able to be educated, and a lot of underprivileged communities not being able to access the resources they need to educate their girls and boys and children.
Lovely. They was so nice to talk to you today, Shiv. And you're doing a wonderful job doing this, putting on Insta, and you're totally involved in this girl child education and women's right. And we are so pleased to have you on this platform. Speaking to you was a pleasure. And we wish you to join us once again whenever we invite you. Thank you, Shiv, so much.
I would like to thank the Parent Station program and the founder, Miss Harsha. And about the footpath school, it's in Budapura in Ahmedabad.
Okay, wonderful. Lovely.
And I'd like to thank you again for this opportunity and thank the audience for taking the time to watch and to listen. And I would once again like to thank everybody for making this possible.
Pleasure, pleasure. Thank you so much, Shiv. Any closing message? Would you like to convey something to our audience? Any
I'd
closing
just like to
comments from
say
your
that if
side,
your
Shiv?
children, oh, sorry, I'd just like to say if you see that your child is very interested in something, whether it be girls' education or climate change or whatever issue, is to support them no matter what, because there are a lot of young people who want to be activists, but they're told to turn that off because of school or because, oh, you're already doing this hobby or that thing. And it's important to encourage them, and it's important to create an environment where they can feel, oh, I can still do this despite school or tennis club or whatever they have, to really support the child in what they want to do, and not to be like, oh, well, you're just 15, 16. Why are you concerning yourself about this issue or that issue?
Yes, yes. It also depends on the parents to allow the children to do what they love to do at this age. Yes, I truly second that. Okay, Shiv, thanks a lot.
Thank you again.